And coming up next year, we got a banger between Erick Gonzalez and Trevor Peek. This is a great fight. Erick Gonzalez, he's back against the wall. This is going to be his third UFC fight. He's taking on a UFC debutant, and so far he's 0-2 in his first two UFC fights. I mean, to be fair, though, look who he's went in there with. Terrence McKinney and Jim Miller. Those guys are top 30, top 25 fighters. And Trevor Peek, he's coming in off the Contender Series, and it's definitely a more even matchup in this one. It's short notice for both guys. Gonzalez and Peek were both getting ready to fight on this card, but their opponents pulled out, so the UFC just matched them together. Definitely a lower level fight in the weight class, but both fighters are explosive and they bring it, so it should be fun. And Erick Gonzalez, he is long rangey, he has some fast hands, holds his hands low, he has a nice up jab, decent long punches, good counter crosses and hooks, and he's down to brawl. He has a solid chin, some okay power, pretty good kicks too. His striking technically is superior by a large margin in comparison to Peek, in my opinion. The issue is Erick Gonzalez is just a crazy dude. He tends to get into wars, wane into fire, be super hittable, and he has a good chin and cardio, but Jim Miller dusted him, and Trevor Peek has that one-punch power, so he just has to be smart here. I think Erick Gonzalez is the better grappler. He has good trips in the clinch, and he uses his wrestling to mix it up, really rather than hold guys down. His control on top is a little questionable, and his takedown defense is also a little bit questionable, but his get-up game is good, and he has good submission defense. I feel he's going to be able to stand up from under Trevor Peek if Peek does get him down a couple of times. And Gonzalez has to be ready to fight another powerful, explosive puncher, which, that's going to be a hard style for him, but I feel like he has the cardio advantage, Gonzalez. He has the experience advantage. He just needs to fight smart, composed, use his experience, and get the win. But his chin is getting questionable because of the damage he's taken in his last two fights. I think he's going to be in great shape, extremely motivated to win this one. But if he doesn't brawl, then that's going to give him a much better chance. For Trevor Peek, not the most technical fighter, but he's very powerful, athletic. He has exceptional heart. He was able to come back from the dead in his last fight to knock out his opponent, earn a UFC contract, and tends to come forward and use his speed and power. Good feints. He wings big, heavy punches. He'll mix it up body head and try to mix in takedown attempts. Throws some real heavy leg kicks, body kicks, head kicks, but doesn't set the kicks up and get clipped heavy off the kicks. His defense is bad, and he's a pretty hittable fighter. His wrestling is good, but not elite. I've seen him lift, get big slams, but his control on top isn't really anything to write home about. He does have good ground and pound, but he doesn't have great control. His takedown defense is questionable, and he is a good grappler, but I feel like someone that's a good wrestler will expose him and show that he isn't necessarily... He uses a lot of strength and just tenaciousness to win with his wrestling and grappling. But cardio-wise, I think Peek comes in great shape. He just pushes a wild pace, and he can't sustain it, so he definitely gasses himself out. Pretty much Peek is Killer Be Killed all octane. I think this fight's going to be a car crash, but I think if it starts to get deeper, I think Gonzalez is probably going to win it with his experience. I think Gonzalez is definitely live. He could knock it out in the first round. I think Trevor Peek by round one knockout is a decent play. But if Erick Gonzalez was smart to me, he would wrestle early, try to get Peek tired. Peek is going to come out really fast, and I feel if Gonzalez could slow that down and start to pick his shots when Peek gets a little gassed, then he could finish him. Peek, I don't think isn't necessarily first round or bust, but I think his best chance to win is definitely in the first round. I don't trust him after that. And I think Gonzalez, even though he's lost his recent fights, he's been fighting a much higher level of competition. And I just have not seen Trevor Peek in there enough with a good fighter in a tough fight, tired in the second, third rounds. And I'm going to go with Erick Gonzalez here via KO in the second or third. I think he could navigate the danger. I think his cardio experience, technical advantages are going to shine through. And I see him getting the win here. I'm going to say second or third round KO TKO for Erick Gonzalez.